Citizen Television.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of The Planetary Persuader. I am Cosmic Kev, your host, and this is for January 3rd, 2014 through the 10th. So, what do we got going on? Well, we're starting out this Friday with a moon in Aquarius. Aquarius moon, we're able to look at the future, see the eccentric and unusual side of people, and enjoy a certain amount of freedom. A certain amount of space. Now this week we're in a waxing moon period. That means the moon's growing. We had the new moon last Wednesday. Now the moon is growing. We still have our 4 planets in Capricorn. Okay, and the sun is in Capricorn. Sun is our soul. Capricorn's key phrase is I use. So in our soul, we're kind of aware of how people use things. I live in a society that is much based on massive consumption between Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. Mass consumption of food, mass consumption of resources, people running around and trying to show some appreciation for the people they love, or just feeling a tremendous amount of guilt and expectations and just kind of going along with the game. But it's hard on the earth. I think it was the Christian songwriter friend Randy Stonehill said it best. You go into the forest and you cut down all the trees. I know you got a power saw, but who plants the seeds? Woo! It's Christmas time. Well, you know, now in my culture, they focus on this game called football, which unlike in Ireland and England, it's not what Americans call soccer and most places call football. It's this other kind of thing where you have 2 armies of guys who are usually oversized men that try to plummet each other, and while they pick up a ball and try and get it from one goal to another. And it becomes very exciting, and they usually have some physically fit, attractive women in short skirts and pom-poms cheering them on, and then bands come out and play during the halftime, and it's oh so exciting, you know. It's a social event, and that's what like the Aquarius moon is. It's a social event. But let's talk about Capricorn a little bit more. Both Aquarius and Capricorn are Saturn ruled. Saturn really brings intelligence. You know, you don't survive winter unless you got some intelligence, especially if you live north of 40 degrees latitude. You know, in most places, that anywhere north of there, it gets pretty dang cold. You know, there's some exceptions, the Mediterranean, the Mendocino coast, you know, there are some exceptions to the rule of this, but for the most part, it's pretty dang cold. And I live pretty close to that marker, and this year we've had some pretty dang cold weather. And, you know, things freeze. Snow falls. People slip on ice. And so Capricorn's impulse is, let's utilize stuff. Let's put spikes on our shoes. Let's put chains on our tires. Let's do smart things. Let's talk about Saturn, for instance. Saturn is about old age wisdom. And it's also about getting rid of things. Just like deciduous trees lose their leaves in the winter, they let them all drop. So it is with Capricorn. We have to get rid of things that are fluff and unnecessary. Now, in the United States, in the 1920s and 1930s were a very artistic, creative time. But once they got involved with World War II, they were like, oh, we can't do all this fluff. You know, it was a very Saturn-ruled period. There's also a period when we had Uranus in Aries, like we do right now, which means highly militaristic. So we sacrificed our art so we could have warriors. And sometimes the warriors get out of control. You know, sometimes our soldiers, our police officers, our prison guards, boy, that's a lot right there. They do very violent things to other people without suffering the normal repercussions that other people would. Sometimes the people deserve it, oftentimes they don't. Either way, it is a perpetuation of hate and violence. Whether it's sanctioned or authorized by the state, it doesn't make it right. It's another way of discriminating against people that are less fortunate. It's another way. Capricorn and Saturn in some ways doesn't like injustice. It doesn't like people being unaware of other people's suffering, because Saturn makes us all suffer. And as this broadcast is going on, I mean, I have Saturn right on top of my Venus and my Sun. This is a pretty difficult thing to go with. Anyone who's a fixed sign, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo, you're getting big hits from Saturn right now. But anyone who's also a cardinal sign is getting big hits from Jupiter, Mars, Uranus, and Pluto, and Venus, and the Sun. You know, so I'm saying like 2/3 of the world are actually kind of hurting right now. This is a big deal. How can we bring about an elixir of healing when times are rough? We're going to explore this today, sign by sign, as we go through the Planetary Persuader.